Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Check check. Testing 1 2 3. Today's games are brought to you by AE Engine Media Marketing, AmericanEagle.com, Bag Tags, Bubba Burger, Bullseye CMYK, Cliff Kid, Expand-A-Brand, Front Rush, Fusionetics, Dick's Sporting Goods. Today's games are also brought to you by Major League Soccer, Nestle Nesquik, Nike, NSCAA, Positive Coaching Alliance, Premier International Tours, U.S. Soccer, Wilson Trophy Company, and Yokohama.
The road starts here. The road paved by pain, sacrifice, and struggle. The road paved by passion and pursuit. The road where dreams come true. On this road, many will fail, and on this road, many dreams will fade. But as for you, what will be your fate? When there are seconds left and you are running on fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough? And all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given. Everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top. Heroes will be made. And on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. Soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career, to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups, that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period. That's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup.
We welcome you in. And now here's a giveaway as that one spins away. Parente trying to get it away from the defender, but that first touch just a bit too heavy. And now Nunez is down. He seems to be laboring quite a bit. And given his reaction, I think he'll have to come out of this one. Hopefully only for the half. But he definitely seems to be struggling, pulling the shirt up and over his face in a great deal of discomfort. So the coaching staff coming out to attend to him. It appears as though they've called over the medical team. So one way or the other, Nunez is coming out of the game. It's more whether or not Coach Caparros wants to put in a substitute. So it does indeed look like they're going to make the switch. So Nunez will be done for the rest of this half. Hopefully he can get whatever problem seems to be afflicting him worked out and potentially come back in a second. Checking into the game now for FC United is going to be Ruben Delgadillo. Not too bad of a swap there. Obviously, Coach Caparros would have liked to have stuck with his starting 11 for a bit longer than 6.5 minutes, but Delgadillo put in some good work yesterday. Didn't necessarily get his name onto the score sheet, but he was good in possession, and that was what his team needed yesterday, despite the fact that they came up on the short end of the stick to Dix Hills. In control through the midfield, Iskra looking to slide one through, gets it under the target, left-footed shot. Just bangs off the back iron in terms of the fencing. Soto wearing that black and white goalkeeping jersey, very reminiscent of the field player jersey for Juventus, the Italian champions for what seems like forever. High up into the air, won there by Iskra. Back the other way we go. Strauss looking to pick up the pace here. Mazzola. Back for Strauss on the left side. Sliding tackle. Coming away with the ball, but not able to hold it in. Mazzola all the way back to Toritin. Mazzola. Delgadillo was right there. Brennan on the attack. Slides one over here to the near side, but too high. Pataka went up to the air to try to pull it down, but even with that good leap, he wasn't able to come down with it. Back the other way. Quick counterattack. One-touch passing. And they needed a bit more deft touch there from Sanchez. That looks like it's going to clear the line. It does, but it was touched in the first place. It'll be a throw-in for Challenger Crew. Brendan settles it down just short of the half line. Tried to get it back. Instead, it comes near side for Parente. Up top to Brusher. Puts it onto the left foot. Back onto the right. Slides it to the left. Strauss chops it towards goal, but ultimately into the hands of Castillo Bahenia. A lot of commotion going on the field behind us. Baltimore Celtic playing over there. And that is field 6 for any of you that want to check out the extra action in behind. That one has ramifications for this one as well. Touch over here to the near side, but Iskra got it a little too far away from himself, and then good positioning here on the near wing. Parente looking up for Brennan. His jersey was getting just a bit of a tug. Brusher through the midfield, guarded closely by Pierre. Dropping it back for Turretin. Strauss looking for options. They are quickly dissipating as that one was touched out. Back for Brusher, all the way back to the half line. Brusher near side, and now Haas. He's got a little bit of space towards the wing and now gives it up. Numbers pushing forward here for FC United. Cutting in towards the middle, a good challenge, able to knock possession away, but only briefly. Delgadillo now on to Alfaro. Alfaro tried to wrap that right foot around it. Instead, that one will probably end up in the pond. Not a bad idea here in the early going. So we're in the 12th minute, but he couldn't quite get the hips to swivel around on that one. Struck it pretty clean, but it ended up staying way too true to its original line. No bend on it at all. Pataka able to get up into the air to claim that one, only briefly. Coming back is Turretin. Looking for Parente. That one seemed like it stayed on the line. It was basically right in front of me. But the official had a better view of it. Brennan will head up towards the attacking area. Slicing through to the left. Cutting the pass back inside. Defenders dealt with it. And then they hammer it off of Brennan to gain the goal kick. Coach Oliver Condell, pleased with what he's seen from his team so far. Skying up from behind was Turretin. That one goes into touch, and it'll stay with Challenger Crew. And apparently there was a foul call that looked like the ball had just been played out, but apparently the whistle had come beforehand. Central official has done a good job here of keeping things under control in the early going. The one thing from a broadcaster's perspective that I'll nitpick with is I haven't necessarily heard his whistle blown hard enough. Seems to be easier to hear the field behind me than the one that we're trying to cover right here. Again, we welcome you in this morning. Todd Panula along with you on this Turbo Sports production of the 2017 USYS Soccer National Championships U19 and 20s boys semifinals. Castillo Bahena able to come up with that one as he picked it off the head of the attacker. So both teams have had a decent amount of possession. A lot of it has been done through the midfield. Good sliding challenge from the side, well timed. Back over to Brusher on the far side, tries to push it back in through to Strauss. He's got Alfaro right on his back. Strauss cutting away from pressure. Inside now to Brennan. He's inside the 18, towards the 18. Up shot, they score! 16th minute. And it's 1-0. Hayden Parente. A fantastic play overall. Strauss was the one to push it upfield, getting it in behind the defenders. He set it up for Chris Brennan, who used his strength and speed to get around, pushed it in towards the end line, just served a nice little soft ball up towards the edge of the 6-yard area, and Hayden Parente was there to finish it off. So a good start here for Challenger Crew, the top team in Group B, up by a goal. 16 and a half minutes in. Here's Alfaro, curling one towards the back post, put back in front. They score! Just like that, we're equalized. It was Jonathan Sanchez to pick up the bones and make something out of what seemed like might be nothing. So there was complaints of offside here. They went unheeded by both the fourth official and, of course, the VAR assistant. 2 goals in the 16th minute of play. You check that. It was 1 goal in the 16th, the second one in the 17th, as time had just crossed over. But we're all back to square. 1-1 your score. Just a little over a quarter hour into this one. We'll see if that somewhat opens the floodgates. Mazzola had gotten a good piece of that one. Now it's stolen away. Sanchez let it go. Now has to go pick it up. Alfaro. Iskra. Alfaro again. He'll push. Just barely touched around the defender. Up into the attack, Brandt. Serving it towards the edge of the 18, no further. He'll push. Going to put a right foot into it. I don't think it ended up as wide as the goalkeeper thought, but it is safely past the post anyway. So 1-1 your score. A 16th minute goal from Hayden Parente, answered by a 17th from Jonathan Sanchez. Strauss keeps it away from Melik. Melik ends up winning the throw, though, so he got the better of that little jostle. They drop one over the top. in. Going down a little too easily there was Sanchez, the referee having none of it. Defenders were able to clear, so it'll be a throw for FC United. Going inside for Alfaro, who brings it back out. Brandt. Delgadillo was calling for it in the midfield. Unable to get it to him, though. Just too many gold kits right in front. In for Sanchez. Crunching tackle, coming away with the ball. Turretin touches it around one defender, slides into it again, and gains himself a throw-in. Pataka all the way through now to Parente. Trying to lob one over the top. He intended that one to be a run-on for Brennan, but it was too much and too direct. Melik around Mazzola. Mazzola trying to slow him down. A well-timed tackle coming away with the ball, but then Melik takes it back on the second attempt. Slide challenge doesn't get anything this time as that one scrapes across the face of goal. Substitute about to check in now for Challenger crew. We'll have to wait as they play that one quickly off the goal kick. Pinballing back and forth, and then a back heel as well mixed in. Nobody coming away with solid possession. Once again, the referee says to get up. Brennan bumped just a little bit. This time the whistle will be blown, so it'll be a free kick inside the center circle. Checking in now for Challenger crew is Vincent Womer. So Womer is in, Adelman is out. Intending that one for Brusher. He might come down with it in the end. Strauss had it just nudged away from behind. Strauss again. Now Haas. Pataka was making the run, but Haas didn't necessarily get it away quickly enough. Intercepted in the midfield again. Off to the races goes Hillpush. Hillpush able to keep it alive. And finally, Haas just has to come over from that center back role, and deciding discretion was the better part of valor in that instance. Just play it out, allow your team to come back and help. A little bit difficult to deal with there as it skipped off the ground for Soto, and that'll kind of be the story a little bit here today as they watered the field. I don't want to say too much because these groundskeepers know more about how to take care of the field than I do, but you have to say that the ball is skipping quite a bit off the still wet grass. And additionally, there's a lot of turf being chunked up here, a lot more than we've seen in the past few days. And I believe a yellow card is being handed out here. It was somewhat of a dangerous challenge, but since it was probably one of the first fouls called on Haas, a tiny bit harsh, but He kind of went straight in on the challenge. So a yellow card handed out to Adam Haas in the 25th minute as they go towards the edge of the 6-yard area. FC United able to get on the behind of that one, but just unable to steer it towards goal. Another sub coming in now for Challenger Crew, Justin Libertowski checking into the game. Libertowski replaces Duldner. Parente, who's pushed a little further inside. Switching the point of attack now as they come here to the near wing. Step over move by Pataka. Defenders saw it. Now into the box. Libertowski quickly on it. But it ended up going over the line. This one's spinning through the air. Turretin comes down with it after losing track of it for a minute. No foul on the challenge. Libertowski couldn't quite hang on to it as he just kind of stuck a leg out. Didn't have good body position on that attempt. Sanchez, the goal scorer for FC United. Pataka with the interception. He's taken down from behind, and now we'll see whether or not Ben Brandt goes into the book. So Brennan will step up and try to put a right foot through it. Seems to be a bit too far away to try a shot here, and he will just try to curl it in for service. Didn't get quite enough air under that one, and the defense just kind of bangs it away. And again, more turf coming up. Feel a little bit bad for the teams taking place in our next semifinal, which will be the 17 and under boys group. Soto with a good job to get his body in behind that one as it was kind of skittering along the ground. Challenger Crew, who scored the first goal of the game and then saw it answered almost immediately. Somewhat cheaply given up over on the far sideline. FC United trying to set up an attack of their own, trying to take a lead of their own. That wouldn't give it away, as it's been the case for quite a few passes in similar areas. Give or take about 10, 15 yards right around the midfield area. They lob one over the top. Castillo Bahena almost caught himself in no man's land as he came out for that one and then put on the brakes. Now we seem to have kind of gotten bogged down in this one a little bit. As that one goes out again, we'll have our first substitute of the match for FC United. Coming into the game is going to be Kevin Terhert. And checking out was Alexander Alfaro. Alfaro able to set up that goal for his team. So the two teams kind of trading throw-ins back and forth. It's coming away with it now is FC United as they push it around. Up through the midfield for Sanchez, laid it back. Sanchez, the intended target again. Strauss is right on him. And that one played out. Mazzola, who had pushed a little bit further forward, saw that pass go awry. And now Ben Brandt will set things up for FC United. He's going to go along with it, trying to go over the top. A little bit of a flick, and it goes just wide. Pierre coming all the way up, getting a decent head on that one. Didn't look like he was going to be able to generate too much power, and he really couldn't in the end, but he got in enough to steer it towards target and at least put a little bit of fear into the goalkeeper. Slight miss kick there from Soto, as he would have liked to have gotten a little bit more air on that one. He'll push. Again, they lob it in towards the box. Interesting tactics going on right now for FC United. It's the wind isn't necessarily too strong, but FC United definitely going into it. So the wind not aiding them at all, but they seem to be playing more long balls than Challenger Crew has necessarily attempted. Again, trying to serve one over the top. That one is going to roll out, but it's going to be a throw. Interestingly enough, though, United not necessarily pushing numbers forward. You want to potentially trap Challenger Crew in the corner here. But that doesn't necessarily seem to be the game plan. Into the game now for the first time will be Zach Hubbard. Hayden Parente will get a bit of a rest here with about 11 and a half minutes left to go here in the first. Turretin initially won the ball, but couldn't come away with possession. Delgadillo kind of blindly hammers it towards the near side. It's a hot potato out there right now as it comes through the middle of the pitch. Brusher tried to slice through two defenders, and that was too much to expect. Melik had it knocked away as Mazzola got a piece of that. Some pushing, some tugging. Nothing too much, though, in the eyes of the official. It'll just be a throw, as FC United will put in some fresh legs of their own. So 2 goals scored in quick succession. Hayden Parente finishing off a Chris Brennan setup as they went left to right to score the opening goal of the game as Andres Marks comes in now for FC United. And that was answered probably 45 seconds later. It was definitely not a full minute. Jonathan Sanchez able to head in the goal after it was put back out in front. Again, going right to left. This time set up by Alexander Alfaro. A big reaction from the field from behind. Again, that is field 6 for any of you who want to check out the action there. And that one thwarted by the legs of the official, much to the displeasure of Coach Condell. Looking for Sanchez. Decent bending run to keep himself onside there, but again, the first touch, just a bit too much. So BRYC scoring against Celtic. Just to give you an update on that other field. And now apparently we have an issue with blood. As coming off the field is the goal scorer, Jonathan Sanchez. Checking in is Jalen Anderson. So this other game is definitely going to be one to watch and keep track of as Baltimore Celtic, a man down with a straight red. FC United looking for some space. They'll find a little bit here on the near wing. Quickly pushed back in front by Pierre. Continued on as Iskra put it towards the midfield circle. Iskra made the run, wasn't rewarded. Trying to chase it down now is Cerritos. Once again, the winner of this one's actually going to take on the winner of Chicago Fire Juniors and West Coast Haney. That one is over on field 4 for those of you who want to check that out. A lot of good action going on here in the early morning. A lot of subs being put in here as both coaches wanting to get their players a little bit extra rest. So Brennan is going to come out and Nick Reppel will come in. So that's going to switch around the attackers just a little bit. Reppel's going to settle into the midfield. Brusher will come over here to the right. And that puts Libertowski up in that striker position. Libertowski tried to kind of just hook that over towards the near sideline, and it just couldn't quite happen. He got a little too heavy on it. Anderson is whacked pretty hard there. 40th minute, now the 41st. So we've got about 5 minutes left in regulation. You would figure there's probably going to be maybe a minute added onto this one. It's been fairly solid in terms of keeping everything flowing. A little too close to goal here, but Soto is absolutely taken out. He's looking around, wonder where the foul is. Here's Reppel. Brusher. Took a little nudge from behind. Strauss. Mazzola. Mazzola trying to evade the defender. Coming right on his back is the fresh Marks. Libertowski came up from the striker position to get that one on the left wing, but he couldn't quite hold on to it. Now Anderson's pocket is picked as the ball pinballs back and forth. Brusher surveying his options. He is sandwiched. His legs were taken out, and he will have a very dangerous free kick coming up. Brusher asking for a little bit more, thought there should have been a yellow card handed out. The referee setting the wall. It's going to be a few steps inside the box. So a definite scoring opportunity here. Zach Brusher is going to step up and put a right foot through this one. Brusher tried to go low with it, perhaps seeing how well that worked for Clint Dempsey in the Gold Cup. Although that goal that Dempsey scored came early in the tournament, and he tried it once again in the finals, and didn't necessarily work out as well that time. Very similar to the end result of that kick by Brusher, but you like the idea. But a steady wall coming up for FC United as they manage to keep their feet on the ground and trust in their positioning. Checking out of the game now is Pierre for FC United, and in is Aaron Whiteman. Marks flicked it up in the air, but with no real purpose. Stolen on the second attempt pass. Iskra got a piece of it. Anderson back over. Terhert just kind of played it off the defender and out to gain himself a little bit of room. Intending that one for Marks. Marks able to steal it, but doing so with a foul. Anderson putting the pressure on Strauss here as it continues over to the far into the near side for Haas. Anderson able to spin that one around, but it'll just kind of roll up the hill in front of me. foul actually called on Iskra there. A little bit more purpose now to the attack for Challenger. And just as I say that, Libertowski had his pocket picked as he took it right into the defender. Trying to lob one over the top. Libertowski again the intended target. Reppel. Pataka is open here on the near wing. They do get into him on the first time. Brusher had his leg kind of taken out. Pataka too strong there. Marks doing a good job keeping that one away, at least initially, and softly rolled into the box. We're about a minute and a half in here into stoppage time. One would figure that the whistle could go at any moment. There really hasn't been a whole lot of stoppages other than the goals. We had a few fouls here and there, but that usually doesn't amount to any time added on. And there is the halftime whistle, so 45 minutes plus a couple in the books. Nothing decided yet as we are all knotted up at the break. 1-1 your score. Hayden Parente in the 16th minute getting things off for Challenger Crew. And then FC United equalizing less than a minute later with a goal by Jonathan Sanchez. I'll step aside for a brief moment. When we come back, we'll have the second half of action, so don't go too far. You're watching the 2017 USYS Soccer National Championship semifinals on Turbo Sports.
The road starts here. The road paved by pain, sacrifice, and struggle. The road paved by passion and pursuit. The road where dreams come true. On this road, many will fail, and on this road, many dreams will fade. But as for you, what will be your fate? When there are seconds left and you are running on fumes, will you be satisfied with almost? Or will you dig down into the dirt, take one more step and make one more play, knowing that good enough isn't good enough, and all the blood, sweat, and tears have brought you to this moment, the moment where pain turns to greatness. On this road, nothing is given, everything is taken. On this road, winners will rise to the top, heroes will be made, and on this road, champions will be crowned.
It was 1935, the year that Elvis and Sandy Koufax were born. It was a year of many firsts, including the first NFL draft, the first Monopoly board game went on sale, Social Security began, and Babe Ruth hit his last home run. In addition to these milestones, the National Junior Challenge Cup was founded in 1935, offering a youth competition for young men in the United States. The cup was later named the James P. McGuire Cup, after the late U.S. soccer president, who himself was quite a standout in his earlier days, winning the U.S. Open Cup in 1929. McGuire would lead U.S. soccer and earn an international reputation as an excellent leader.
The Jim McGuire Cup was started in 1935. It was the only cup that the United States Soccer Federation had for youth players. And it was a very good competition, and I can tell you, I mean, this was the highlight of my soccer career to be a champion in 1954.
This storied cup, now the oldest trophy in youth sport.
It has a history, it has a meaning, I think it has tradition. So I think it's extremely important for our competitions, for all the age groups that kind of emulate the McGuire Cup.
Winning the McGuire Cup is huge, just because all that history that comes along with the oldest trophy in youth sports period, that's really big for us.
Who will write their name in the next chapter of the storied McGuire Cup?
Welcome back to Highlander Field here in Frisco, Texas, in the soccer complex at Toyota Stadium, home of FC Dallas, who will be playing later tonight, which is going to create an interesting scenario for us because we're actually broadcasting the finals for the U13 and 14 age groups. So we're going to be over here on this field, and probably only a few hundred feet away is the main stadium, and that's going to be full of excited FC Dallas fans. They've struggled a little bit this year, been kind of hot and cold in the MLS, but they usually manage to find themselves kind of in the later stages of the season. FC United getting things underway here as they push one high up into the sky, bringing it down as it came back towards midfield was Iskra. Pierre looking for a return pass. Instead, it's cut back inside. Hill push, able to keep it away from pressure as Challenger Crew looking to really kind of push things onto the attack here quickly and trying to shrug that one off as Chris Brennan, as the challenge came up a little bit high there, and it will indeed be called for a foul somewhat after the fact. So a little over a minute in here in the second half, and there was not a yellow card handed out in that incident. Coach Condell upset about that, feeling that his player was given one for a similar challenge, and the explanation given by the fourth official quite clearly was that there was not contact made and the play was stopped merely for the dangerous challenge. Couple free kicks given in quick succession here. Brennan brings it down as he seems to have shaken off whatever was ailing him. Lobbing one over the top. Defender's going to get there first. Castillo Bahena puts it up. Reppel struggled to deal with that one just a little bit. Gets a second chance here with Delgadillo on his back. Strauss, Brusher, Wolmer around the defender. Hess, a little bit of space. Libertowski going to go to the far side, but got too much under that one. Took the 9-iron and would have been better off with the 7. Team Challenger pushing the numbers forward, trying to keep the pressure on here. FC United able to at least get it over the half line. Turretin. We're trying to get it up for Brennan again, as he seems to be the main focal point for the attack. Understandably so. Wolmer just kind of chunked the pass, gets it back though. Hess. Reppel trying to feint out Delgadillo. Turretin into the box. And once again, the defender steps right into it. Reppel once more. the far side. Off the post. Not the one that he would have liked to have hit, but such is the way of things. A little bit slow here in the early going as we're just a little over 4 minutes in here. Second half of action. Everything on the line here as Brennan threw up a bit of a blind challenge on that one. He was probably fortunate not to come it because his shoulder was going to be very close to the defender there. And again, kind of mentioned it during the first half. It's been interesting, and it's somewhat played out here in the second. The teams that have been going into the wind have been serving the long balls in. So it somewhat goes against conventional thinking. But Coach Condell telling his players now that he wants passes more on the ground, no more chipping through. Trying to play it on in. Womer able to push his way through two defenders, trying to get past another one. Still in possession, but finally taken away by Hillpush. A lot of jostling going on in the middle of the pitch. Alfaro. So now a discussion between the center official, and it's hard to tell who that was. I believe it might have been Will Turretin, but it's difficult to see. High into the box, takes a good bounce. Milik! And Soto comes up with a big save. So you have to say that things have remained pretty calm here on our field, which is always good to see despite the high-stakes nature of this contest. It has not been the case for the field behind us. Again, that is in a different age group. It's 18 and under in this semifinal on the other field, but the Baltimore Celtics coach has had to be removed. So we haven't reached that kind of high-pressure situation yet. Tempers flaring just a bit here and there, but nothing to that point. And you're always going to have coaches and players with the blood pressure raised just a little bit in these kind of situations, but good to see that we're not nearing critical mass here in this contest. Again, 1-1 your score. Both goals coming within 45 seconds of each other as things really melting down behind me. Try to keep our focus here, but it's kind of getting a little bit difficult as the yelling and screaming has really reached a fever pitch. But again, the goal coming for Challenger Crew in the 16th minute, and then one in the 17th minute for FC United. Hayden Parente and Jonathan Sanchez scoring for their respective teams. Lobbing one over the top. Now a foot race. Castillo Bahena has to come out because it looked like Chris Brennan might have had the wheels to pass up the defender as he had really turned on the afterburners. Bit of a dangerous challenge there, and course, it's not necessarily agreed with by the team challenger player. But this is the second time in quick succession that the same player has been talked to, so if he does not come away with the card, which it does look like he is going to, so the yellow card handed out. 56th minute of play. And Turretin just kind of sends that one into touch. Lob towards the edge of the 18. Difficult to get any kind of power behind those high balls. And finally blasted over the target. Tim Iskra putting a right foot through that one, but he really couldn't quite get it to settle down. And those are the kind of plays that you understand why that happens, because you spin, you want to get it towards goal, you get a little bit overeager, a little bit anxious. But sometimes you also don't have the time afforded to you to let that one come within mere inches of the ground, which is basically what you would have to do to really put a line drive in through that one. So with the stoppage, that will put it back into play now for Challenger Crew. Line drive kick looking for Brennan. He's able to take it off the stomach and keep it down in good control. Crossing attempt was blocked by Hillpush. It will stay with Challenger, but it will be a throw-in. That one went up and over. In towards the box. Castillo Bahena couldn't come up with it, but the defenders dealt with it. FC United goalkeeper was just a tiny bit too hesitant, understandably so, as there were legs coming in, and even the bravest of goalkeepers has to guard for their own safety every now and then, but the ball just barely touched over him. He got a hand to it. So complaints of a late flag there, but it was the right call. I think the center official was, the near side assistant was just kind of waiting to see if the center official was going to call anything. And eventually put the flag up. Better late than never, though. FC United's head coach not necessarily agreeing with that in this instance. But if it had gone the other way, I'm sure he would have been calling for it to be out anyway. Libertowski drops it off. Brennan with the right foot. But once again, the ball just kind of sailing away from him, and he couldn't necessarily keep it in a good shooting spot. With the defender sliding right in front of him, he was just trying to unleash that one. Turretin goes high up into the air, and then Brusher wins it at half field. Reppel in charge of it now. Brennan all the way back. Brennan mostly a right wing now, as Libertowski has stayed kind of in that center striker role. Here comes Hess. Defender took it away, clearing it ever so briefly. Turretin. They were trying to set up the shot for Libertowski, but it wasn't quite there. Crunching tackle. Turretin comes away with it. Now Turretin again into the box. Brusher! And he stumbled a little bit on the shot. That was enough to take some off. Looked like it was set up for him, and he's going to be frustrated with his efforts there. Defender was there as well, throwing off the shot just a bit, taking a lot of the sting out of that one, and it was an easy stop in the end for Castillo Bahena. Near side now with Pierre. Good service into the box. He comes down. Sanchez goes to ground, and the referee says no. Some of the team challenger players getting a little bit frustrated with that attempt to get a penalty. Coach Condell telling them to keep their focus on the game. A near handball there. The referee says to play on as FC United is in possession. Melik here on the near sideline. Melik towards the end line now as he curled around. Still in possession of it. Challenger able to make the steal. Brusher can't get to it. Pierre was there. Chested down. Delgadillo had it stolen away as the extra ball comes out onto the pitch now. At last check, there was no score in that other semifinal match between Chicago Fire Juniors, and they, on paper, would be the most likely team to advance because they pretty much rolled through Group A. A lot of goals scored. Here's Libertowski taking on all comers. Just a little bit of a nudge there from Cerritos was enough to throw Libertowski off. And the throw-in was gained. Nil-nil is still the score in that other semifinal match between Chicago Fire Juniors and West Coast Haney. West Coast Haney, no slouch, so not trying to take any credit away from them as they earned their spot in the semifinals, but Chicago Fire Juniors definitely the favorites going into that one, given how they kind of steamrolled their way through unbeaten. But for their credit, unbeaten as well were Challenger Crew. They didn't necessarily make it look quite as pretty with one win and two draws. But they got the job done, and this one played out in sportsmanlike fashion as there's a player down here on the near side. So with the break in action, the players will come over towards the sideline, get a bit of a hydration break, and it kind of comes right around the moment when you would get it if this game was taking place a little bit later in the day. So the ref quickly puts the kibosh to that. So back into play as they played it in for the goalkeeper. Here's Libertowski. Brennan turning on the Jets. And the pass was intercepted. Iskra in good position. Now a low line drive from Iskra. That would have been trouble for the goalkeeper, but the defenders saw it well. FC United pushing the reset button, sending it back. Iskra. Alfaro from the right. And that was much too direct. Looking for Sanchez, not a bad idea, but he needed to have a little more curl on that service. High up into the air, difficult to deal with for everybody. Brennan launches himself in, won enough of the ball, and then the foul was given as Libertowski was taken down. So both semifinals here for the U1920s are very tightly contested. Both of them draws. So we're about 22 minutes in. A decent flick there from Brusher. But it just wouldn't curl enough to get inside that far post. Coming back into the game now for FC United is Kevin Terhert. He will replace Delgadillo. Cerritos able to win that initially. Here's Brennan. Pressure coming from behind. Pierre in a wrestling match now with Libertowski. Brandt. And it's into touch. And apparently the foul was given. The flag went up, so I had initially thought perhaps it was a foul, but there was no waving action, so it seemed to be just signaling and out of bounds. Iskra was going for Brandt. He'll push. Up the left-hand side, looking for space. Up top for Sanchez. It goes off his back, but he regains and then loses it. Stolen away. Running up the near side is Terhert. Trying to touch around the defender. Womer in a foot race. Womer will win. Up through the midfield, Terhert kind of got caught up there. He was trying to just flick it on, but he spun around before the ball had made its way. Hess tying up his man. Alfaro able to get around, shrugging off one player, and the foul is given. Just about 26 minutes played here in the second half. As Parente looking to check back in now for Challenger Crew. So Parente is in, Reppel is out. Turnitin coming up to get a piece of that one. Kept in by Womer. Trying to get around the defender. Plays it off the body of Grady. Now Coach Kondo wanting numbers forward here for Challenger Crew. Sanchez wanted to try to spring Melik. Instead, it comes here to the near wing. Alfaro. And second time in a row that Alfaro has been in possession of the ball and being called for the foul, getting a little bit too overzealous there in his attempts to get around the defenders. Too tall for Libertowski, and that was dealt with by Grady. Brennan saw it poked away at least for a moment. Turnitin able to absorb the little tug there, but then gave it right back. Brandt. Looking far side now for Pierre. Here's Alfaro. Again looking for Sanchez, but it's not quite there. Brennan on the counter, trying to catch the goalkeeper out. Not a bad idea overall, but you're going to have to try to put that on target if you're going to get a little bit brave there. So a bit of a delay getting the play restarted as a ball from the other field had managed to come onto ours. Melik gives it over to Terhert. Terhert spun around, gets it over to the far side. A lot of switching going on here as Pierre has come over to the right and Terhert is pushed up into the midfield. But here's Brennan for Challenger. On for Womer. He's spun around and the free kick given. And an extremely long 10 yards being given. Now the official putting them a little bit closer, outside the box this time. Again, it's going to be Brennan to put a right foot into it. You have to figure he's looking for a shot again. Punched away. Rebound is there for Libertowski. And a flag went up. Offside the call. Difficult to tell who it was on. I don't think it was Libertowski because the flag went up somewhat late. A little bit of a slip there from Parente. That's it for Hill push. Looking up for Sanchez. Brandt. Spun around for Alfaro, who's set up shop on the left. And Alfaro, even from the far side, getting called for the foul. Now Parente, trying to make his way around the defender, will at least get a throw out of it. A little bit of space now for Turitan. He's taken down. And the penalty given. Cerritos down, both in discomfort and disbelief. Castillo Bahena imploring the case of his team, but right now it looks like Challenger out of Medina, Ohio are going to have an attempt to take the lead from a penalty kick. Parente will step up to take it again. So in the 78th minute, Hayden Parente could score his second goal of the game. Put his team on top. There's the whistle. The shot. Goalkeeper guessed right, but the ball still goes in. 2-0. Challenger Crew. Hayden Parente with a couple goals now, putting his team up by one. The score 2-1. And what a turn of events. It was the correct call. FC United fans obviously going to feel a little bit hard done. Might feel that they had opportunities themselves, especially with Jonathan Sanchez going down in the box earlier in this half. But it's been a very well-played game, although a yellow card comes out here. So in the 79th minute, it's a yellow card to Brennan, as that kick was wasted a little bit, and the frustration definitely seeping in now for Jose Castillo-Bahena. And he's got to keep his composure here for his team's sake as well, because you never know how many more challenges are going to come. A 1-goal deficit can definitely be overcome with this little time left in the half. Skying up to get a piece of that one was Patrick Strauss. As things going to start to get a little bit tighter here. Players starting to get a little bit hot under the collar as time dwindles away. Under 10 minutes left in regulation. So we're in the 38th minute of play here in the second half. Castillo-Bahena puts a much better slot into this one. On for Sanchez. And that will be a goal kick. Well played by Strauss as he was able to play that one off the attacker. And now if you're team challenger, you begin the tightrope act. You want to take as much time on every stoppage as you can without irritating the official to the point of gaining another senseless yellow card. Brusher, who is pushed up front in the absence of Brennan, who has been substituted out shortly after that yellow card was given. Coming into the game was Zach Hubbard. Now Turretin pushed it back. Continued through by Doldner. All the way to the corner flag. Brusher and Cerritos. Cerritos able to come away with it. Pushed upfield as they look for Alfaro. Back the other direction, and a good decision there by Brusher not to play that one, as it would have put him offside. Although it's somewhat 6 in one, half a dozen in the other, as he was so deep in the corner that you're getting a goal kick or a free kick from outside the box. Too strong a handle there for Pierre. Once again, I want to thank you for watching this Turbo Sports production of the 2017 U.S. Youth Soccer National Championship semifinals. We appreciate you tuning in, whether you're watching from Medina, Ohio, or Northfield, Illinois. All points in between and beyond, as Mazzola was taken out there by his own player. And now we're going to get a stoppage. It seemed like Mazzola took the brunt of that challenge, but they seem to be wanting some medical attention out there very quickly. So hopefully the player is going to be okay. It's still difficult to see who that was. Again, it looked like the player down was the one that crashed into Mazzola, and Mazzola should have been the one that was a little bit more shaken up, but instead, almost immediately afterwards, there was just one step taken and then directly to ground. So obviously in today's day and age, you have to be very cautious with potential head injuries, and the official did just that, not wanting to risk the safety of the players. So we've played just about 41 minutes here in the second half. Time ticking away on the season for FC United. Challenger crew inching ever closer to a potential finals berth. So coming out of the game was Tommy Pataka, and he will see the trainer. And he's got a lot of scrapes on his face, so hopefully he will be all right. And if his team should manage to continue on, he'll be all right to play in the next round. Still time on the clock for FC United to try to put their stamp on this one. And again, in that other contest, it is very tight. 0-0 still to score between Chicago Fire Juniors and West Coast Haney. So you have to figure that one is getting late enough that any goal scored is going to be the game winner. A little bit of tugging going on here. He'll push, sending one over the top, looking for Pierre. Desperately needing a goal to knot this one up. And that one went over the end line. And you have to know that Soto is going to show no great urgency in getting this one back in. Terhert has to play it back to the far side now. Intercepted. Going up onto the attack is Hubbard. Service on through. And it will be played back into the box. Castillo Behedia. And now Terhert. As that one was a bit of a miss kick, but it ended up playing up well for FC United. That one not. Is the urgency a little too great there? Intended for Pierre, but a little more control was needed. The recently inserted Adelman taking it down. Adelman will not get there first as Grady's slide challenge threw off the pass just enough. He'll push. Intercepted now by Turretin. He's able to keep it away as his leg was swept out from underneath him. It's an attempt to really close the door on this one for Mazzola. If he can put this one in, going with the low line drive right into the wall. We have played the full 45 here, so we're in stoppage time. On through to Medina. And it wouldn't quite settle down there. Melik was running onto it, and Soto was there first. Blasted over the top. Melik again running on. A miscue. Soto can't handle it. Sanchez! Just wide. The fans for Challenger Crew can swallow their hearts back down into their chests, as it had to have been up in the throat. Touched over to the far hand side, but it'll be with Team Challenger. Time ticking away. FC United giving it away in towards the box. An attempt for Duldner. And now laid on back. Turretin towards the edge of the box, and that's dealt with FC United. Perhaps one last gasp. Now Grady. A little bit too strong for Alfaro. He was able to corral it, but not with much possession. Cerritos with Adelman chasing him down. All the way back for the goalkeeper. He's going to keep it out in play. 2-1 here, 0-0 in the other game. Iskra won himself a throw. A little worse for wear, and he actually won the free kick. Fourth official says there's about 3 minutes left. All the bodies forward. And they play it right into the teeth of the defense. Cerritos, and it's knocked away. A chance here. The goalkeeper is out. He is going to try to stay, and he picks up the challenge. Still out. And the shot is going to go comfortably wide. Castillo Bahena rolling the dice, going in for the challenge on the ball as he stood his ground. Managed to come up with it. Heart-pounding moments here. Sliding one through. Brusher will have a lot of space in front if he can track it down. He wants to just carry it towards the corner. Doing a good job to just trap it in. And now that is given up, and it'll be a corner kick. Roughly about 90 seconds left. Obviously, that is unofficial. The head referee keeping the time on his watch. Turretin towards the box, carrying it in, taking on 3 defenders, and still coming away with it. And he would have been wiser to let that one go, as Adelman would have been able to pick it up. Again, still 0-0 in that other game. Things remain as they are. Challenger Crew would take on the winner of Chicago Fire Juniors and West Coast Taney. FC United hoping that they can still have one last chance. Cleared away by Brusher. Almost the entire bench for Challenger up, standing, wanting that final whistle, and there it is. The full 90 have been played, plus stoppage time, and Team Challenger Crew Juniors are heading to the national finals. They defeat FC United by the final score of 2-1. An excellent, hard-fought game by both sides, and what a finish to it. It opened with a 16th-minute goal by Hayden Parente. It was knotted up almost immediately by Jonathan Sanchez, but then the penalty called on Manny Cerritos in the 78th minute. Hayden Parente would finish that one off, and that one would be the difference. So tune in to the other feed. That one is again on field 4 between Chicago Fire Juniors and West Coast Haney. That one should still be in progress. At last check, it was scoreless, but they will play Challenger Crew Juniors in the national finals coming up tomorrow. That'll do it for our coverage on this game. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It was a cracker. I'm Todd Panula for our great crew and everybody at Turbo Sports. We thank you for watching, and until the next time, have a great day.